really get a lead and see how long you can sustain it. And if you can sustain it long enough, you might only not get a good time. You might not only get a good time, but you might be able to get the win. So after running down that road, that we took that sharp right-hand turn, run down that road, and then we take the sharp left-hand turn, and down that road, now I can see the main road, and once I got onto the main road, I cut across the main road, took a left-hand turn, and see this giant hill. I had actually run this hill a few months back. What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. As part of this video, I get to say, I hope you enjoyed the last few episodes of you guys about the Boston Marathon Expo recap. I really do hope you guys enjoyed listening to me in that video talk all about the Boston Marathon Expo and how it was just an amazing experience. I mean, I told you guys the expo was so big. I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't heard me say, I said it a ton in that video, but again, I'll say it once more here. The Chicago Marathon World Major Marathon Expo, link for Chicago info down in the description below. I think I linked it in that video too, but I will link the Chicago Marathon info down in the description below. Very difficult marathon, very amazing marathon. That expo, I think, was the greatest one I've ever went to in my lifetime, my history. But I mean, obviously that was not in the mix of COVID. That was a year before COVID, so it didn't have to be as small. I think Boston's Expo still had some restrictions in 2022, but again, it was so much better to be back to a real expo again, finally back to a real race setting type thing. And I mean, you guys heard, we got so much free stuff at the expo. There was so much stuff to buy at the expo. There were a few mishaps at the expo. Hint, hint, that guy who just kept pretty much harassing us the entire time the first day on that Friday. But yeah, so that expo was so much fun. I really do hope you guys enjoyed sticking around. If you guys did stick around for all those photos and everything at the end. I'm not going to link those all at the end of this video because they're not really in tune with this video because this one is a race, so we'll have a lot of stuff at the end anyway. But if you guys would like to go check out that video and see all that stuff, I will link that video down in the description below. So go check that out. Go check that video out if you guys haven't already. Yeah, guys, so that's probably going to do it up for this first block of the intro, sorry. And now let's go into our second block of the intro, the topic of today's video. So in today's video, as you guys probably see by my hat, and you're probably thinking to yourselves, Michael, you never wear a hat. Well, and you guys probably also saw of the title and the amazing thumbnail and title of this video, we are going to be talking about the BC or Boston College Race to Educate 5K recap. We're just going to be recapping the race. So this race was a lower key race. This race was pretty much just to get us warmed up for the meets. Now we are going to be racing for 10 weeks now. So every single week, you guys are going to get a race recap from me. Sometimes even more than one, depending on how many races. At most 2. I don't ever think I will have 3 in a week, but I will give you guys as many race recaps as I have. So you guys from now until the next 10 weeks, you guys are going to be getting a race recap from me. And then after that, until the end of the summer, until August 1st, basically. So from basically now until August 1st, almost every single week, you're going to have a race recap from me. In this first one, the BC 5K to Educate, this one was a much lower key race. It was much, it wasn't as high caliber as like the BAA 5K, which I will link down in the description below, or some other races, even such as like the Feaster 5, or even such as the Fudgical. It might have been a little bit higher than the Fudgical, but I will link all those videos down in the description below as well. But yeah, so this race, even though it wasn't as high as some of the other races that I've raced in the past few weeks, I mean, BAA 5K being one of those higher caliber races, this race was still really, really good. I mean, this race still had some awesome competition. The winning time was still sub 17. So that, I mean, it's crazy. And this hill, this course was not really easy. I mean, people told me that, oh, you had one small hill at the beginning. It was just a bump. And apparently they either changed the course or somebody lied to me because this course was not a flat course whatsoever. But yeah, so we're going to get into that in this video. Yeah, so that's probably going to do it up for that. So we'll be obviously having our before, during, after the race blocks. But I will be telling you guys in those blocks my feelings, my thoughts, my warm-up, my cool-down a little bit. I had the cool-down, and just the race itself before, during, after the race in all those blocks. And stick around to the end of the video for, obviously, the recap, but also some awesome guest speakers. And some other tiny things that we'll have at the end of the video that I will mention in the recap of this video. Yeah, guys, so that's probably going to do it up for this intro of the video. And now let's go into our first block of the video, the before the race block. Alright guys, in this first block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened before the race. So obviously, as you guys probably know, all the interesting stuff is going to happen when we get to the actual stadium where we actually started. The start and the finish line they were the same place, but they actually started at the BC football stadium. So all the interesting stuff happens when we get there, but I'm going to be telling you guys what happened, obviously, when we got home, before we left the house, how I ate my breakfast, how I got ready, and how we ultimately left the house and got to the stadium. So I think this morning, I am filming this for you guys a day in advance, so I may get some of the times wrong, but I think I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it was between like 6 o'clock, 6:05, maybe 6:10. I think it was between 6 o'clock and 6:05, but I wanted to wake up at like 5:30 because for this race, it started at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty late, but on top of getting there, which was it was probably about 30 to 45 minutes, probably closer to 45 minutes away by itself just to get to the stadium. But we also had to pick up one of my newer teammates, actually, Jack, who only joined a week ago. If you guys would like to sign up for the GLRR Youth Club, I will link all the information to sign up for GLR down in the description below. But we had to pick him up as well. So on top of that, probably took an extra hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So we had to be out of the house by 7. I wanted to have a good hour and a half to get ready. I really only had about an hour to get ready, which it might seem like a long time, but when you eat breakfast for 30 minutes and you're super nervous on race day, that can seem like a super, super short amount of time. Because typically I like to get a decent amount of rest in before I get up for my races, but I mean, this morning there wasn't really that much rest to get in. So I basically woke up, had my breakfast, and got out. So I woke up at like 6:05. I rolled out of bed at like 6:05, basically, because we were late. So my dad even told me, like, he's sorry for waking me up late. I mean, it's all good. We've had this happen a lot before at the Fudgicles. I mean, for like the past, I think we had 2 or 3 of them were on time, and the next like 4 we were all off in time. We had like 10 minutes to get to the starting line and go. But yeah, so basically I woke up, sat on the couch, obviously, and my dad made me my breakfast and my chocolate milk, my bobo and my chocolate milk. Again, if you guys would like to check out my breakfast, I will link all the information down in the description below for my breakfast. But yeah, so after I finished my breakfast, I slowly ate that. I don't know why, because this race was so under pressure, but I was so nervous for this race. It was weird because I'm like, well, Michael, this is such a low-key race, but for some reason, I was so hyped up for this. I don't really know why. I think it's just that thing of like, I really want to have this good like season, not season opener, because I already had season openers, but like this was like my true season opener. It was the first week before I went like to my actual meets that actually like counted towards my season. Because when I look back on my season, I do look at these races, but the only one I'm really gonna remember through these races is the BA 5K. That's gonna be like the one that stands out to me. But my meets are gonna be the most important things to me. So this is like kind of like my real season opener type thing. So I really wanted to get this one right and really wanted to ultimately either come away with a good time, and on top of that, or instead of a good time, if the course wasn't a good course for a good time, which it wasn't really, still got a pretty good time, but ultimately come away with the win for this race I mean, not the season opener, but like the true season opener in my mind. But yeah, so I slowly ate my bobo and my chocolate milk, finished in about 30 or 35 minutes, probably, maybe 40. But after that, I basically got straight off the couch like 5 minutes later. I watched a little bit of YouTube, a little bit more, but then straight off the couch like 5 minutes later, got in my singlet, my shorts, my jacket, my pants, and then basically, we got all the stuff packed in the track bag. I got all my stuff ready into my BAA, or my Boston Marathon backpack, which I mentioned in the expo. Again, link that video down in the description below, the expo recap. And then after that, we basically packed everything up, got everything into the car. And sorry, my words are getting a little tangled in my voice today. And then we went to pick up my teammate, Jack. So I'm not really going to talk about the car ride. Once again, we just picked up Jack. He was probably about 30 minutes away from us. Maybe like 20, between 20, 25, and 30. So it was probably close to 30. So again, not the closest and most convenient. But Jack is a super nice kid, so we offered to take him. And then from there to BC was probably about 30 minutes, I would say. A good solid 30 minutes, I would guess. So we basically drove all the way down there, and then I'm going to skip over all the car ride because we didn't really do anything. I kind of just read a few articles, kept myself busy a little bit. And then when we arrived at BC, that was the part where it really started to like get good and all that kind of stuff. So now it's the exciting part. So we parked the car and we went over to the stadium, and at first there was only us, me, my sister, and my dad were running for our family. My mom was obviously the photographer here, and then my teammate Jack was also running. But it was just Sam and Lucy, two other kids on our team. Once again, sign up info down in the description below. But we went to pick up our numbers, our t-shirts, and then slowly our teammates started to arrive. So we took a few pictures, and then after we took a few pictures and got our numbers on and were ready, and we got I told my dad basically after we got all our numbers on, got our t-shirts packed away in the bag because we weren't going to wear them for the race. I was wearing my singlet, obviously. If you guys would like to check out my race kit, I will also link that down in the description below. But I basically told my dad, can we go out and walk around a little bit? Because you guys know that before races, especially races where I do get hyped up a lot, I like to go walk around, and I like to go keep my mind off stuff, and I like to get out of a noisy place. Because, I mean, this race probably had about 900 around 900 people, my coach said. So that was way more than he thought. So basically, it was a really, really loud atmosphere, and I don't really like that. So we went outside the stadium, and outside the stadium, we kind of just walked a little bit farther down. We explored some of the campus a little bit. We saw a few things, walked past the dorm, and then my mom called my dad and basically said, I couldn't hear them, but my dad said, after the phone call, she said, can you come back? We're taking a picture. And for me, I thought my coach was coming back to warm up, but ultimately I realized it was a picture. So we took the picture, and then after the picture, we went out again. I think we went to the bathroom at that point because we had to go. Again, I know that's not very exciting for you guys to hear, but it's the beauty of running a 5K, right? It's the beauty of entering every race. You just have to make sure you don't have to go to the bathroom before you sit on the starting line. But yeah, so after the bathroom, we basically got back. We put our racing shoes on. I stripped off my pants, and then we got ready to warm up. So for our warm up, we just did two light laps around the field. Basically, we did a light lap around the field. We did another light lap around the field, and then we did some stretching. Obviously, high knees, butt kicks, scoops, strides, all that kind of, well, not strides. Strides are a whole different thing. But yeah, so that kind of stuff. And then we did strides, and that kind of completed our warm up. So after 4 strides, it kind of completed our warm up. Again, if you guys would like to see a video on my warm up, comment down in the description below. Comment on the live chat below. I don't know if I'm going to make that video for you guys because sometimes I just like to keep some things to myself. But if you guys really want to, I might decide to make it. Maybe when we hit 100 subscribers, I don't know. If that's one you guys like to see, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, all that kind of stuff. All that good stuff. But yeah, so make sure you comment down in the live chat for that. But after we finished our warm-up, this BC college kid came over, and he said, hi, what's your name? And I said, Michael, and he said his name. I think, I can't even remember his name now. We're a day out from the race, so I can't really remember everyone. But he said, what's your goal time today? And we basically said, maybe sub 17, maybe PR. And he said, I'm a college student. I'm more of a mile guy. I'm a 408 mile guy, which is incredibly fast. Congratulations to him for that. But yeah, so he basically said, I'm doing this for community service. I'll pace you out. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm going to get someone to pace me. And he showed us the course, and he told us there was one little bump in the first mile. And obviously I told you guys that wasn't true because either somebody lied to me or they just changed the course. But that was not one tiny bump at the beginning. There was just hill after hill after hill. But we will get to that more in the second block of the video. And my dad basically told me, you should take it. And I said, yeah. So he ended up saying, all right, let's go pace. And after that, I ripped off my jacket. We went to the bathroom for one final time. And then by that point, it was about 5 minutes to start time. And we had to rush over to the starting line to get ready in our place on the starting line. So my dad basically said, you have to work your way up. Work your way up. Because the front group, when you're normally in a race, even in the lower key races, when you're at the front of the starting line, you're typically going to run about 5-minute to 6-minute pace. This race, the lowest time was 7-minute pace to 8-minute pace. So you could definitely tell that this race was lower key just by the fact that there was 7 to 8 minute guys up at the front where there should have, literally, like, the race, I think, was like 5. I mean, you had to run sub 5:30 pace per mile to win the race. So we got a spot up front. I got on the front line, and then the BC kid, I can't really remember your name right now. I'd love to hear it. If you are watching this right now, that BC kid, comment your name down in the live chat below. Down in the live chat below, I'd love to hear it. I can't remember right now, but he basically said, "Michael, look around. You're gonna win this." And I thought to myself, "Am I gonna win this? I hope so." So we talked to a few people on the starting line. It was kind of quiet. I set my watch. We listened to the national anthem, obviously. It was a little bit mishap in the national anthem, but there was a BC student. It was a girl. She still sang really well. And then after that, the starter went up to the line. They said ready. They said set. And then they didn't say go. They said something else. But everyone started running, and I thought to myself, well, you're on your way now. Yeah, guys, so that's probably going to do it up for this first block of the video. And now let's go into our second block of the video, the during the race block. Alright guys, in the second block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened during the race. So as I told you guys in the last block of the video, the before the race block, we lined up on the starting line. I really did try to get a spot up front, only because I knew that, as I told you guys, the front guys were 7 to 8 minute miling guys, which normally in even some of the low-key races, such as like April Fool's 4 miler, or even like Amesbury 5K, and those kind of races, even fudgicles. I mean, you had guys lining up at the front who were about to run 5:36 minute miles. I mean, at this race, there wasn't any. The fastest mile guys were 7 to 8 minute mile pace guys. So I knew if I was gonna run, sub 17 like I wanted to, maybe in a PR, that was gonna require like 5:15 to 5:30 miles. I mean, that was a new PR would have required sub 5:20 miles, but I even thought to win this race, it's probably going to require, 5:30 miles to win the race. So I thought to myself, okay, get a spot up front, get a good spot up front, and try to make sure you're up there and don't get boxed in. Even the BC kid said, okay, Michael, you have to get up front. Like, Michael, push your way up front. And you almost shoved me into the front lead pack right up at the starting line. Because there were kids up there who probably shouldn't have been there, but obviously it is a kids race. It is just to raise money for the education program at this elementary school. Actually, it's my mom's elementary school. I will link their website down in the description below if you guys would like to go check out their elementary school. It sounds like a great school. I think it's a private school in Boston, but yeah, so it sounds like a good school, but yeah, so it was fun. But yeah, so I tried to get myself lined up early there, and we listened to the national anthem. The starter blew ready, set, go, and we were gone. Even from the first steps, it wasn't really my concern because I knew I was going to try to get out fast. I wanted to get out fast and put a little bit of early gain on the field. But from my left side, these two guys just come sprinting up straight out of the stadium. And I'm like, oh my God, what just happened there? Because I'm not used to that. I'm used to guys up front. They're going off fast and I'm staying with them. I'm not used to people coming up to me and just absolutely blowing by me. You would have thought they were running the 200 meters for all I know, because they were just sprinting off. And I don't think they realized that it was 5,000 meters, not 200 meters. So basically you started and finished in the stadium, and then you were on the you were on the pavement as quickly as possible. So I wanted to get on the pavement as quickly as possible. And once I took my first steps onto the pavement, I didn't really know this course, but I didn't realize I almost got lost, and we had to take this sharp left-hand turn outside of the stadium, and that was when the BC kid told me, Michael, okay, now settle in. And I basically told myself, you can settle in, but make sure you keep the distance between you and those other guys not too far. If they start fading, that's good. That'll make it easier for you. Don't try to sprint your way up with them, though. You don't want to go out too fast. And I think that was what we'll talk about more about this in the after the race block, but I think that was one of my mistakes throughout the race. But yeah, so we'll talk about that more. But we took this wide right-hand turn, and just after we took the wide right-hand turn, just before that, I passed those two guys. I think they had gone out a little too fast. Everyone in this field was a great runner, but I think they had just gone out a little bit too fast. But congratulations to them. They led for 200 meters. So, that's still a win. You still led the 5K, so at least you can still say you led it. But yeah, so we went over this small speed bump, and then it was just a straight shot down, right-hand turn, and then that's all I could see at the moment. But the BC kid was still with me, and I was wondering, like, okay, get in front of me, you're pacing me. And I don't know, I thought at the moment maybe he was just trying to catch up to me and let me go. But then I realized, oh, maybe can he, like, keep this pace? And I thought, soon enough, I couldn't even hear him behind me. And I'm like, oh, can he not keep this pace? Like, I didn't realize he couldn't keep this pace. So basically, I was on my own after I went down that road, kept running down that road. I actually got a little bit wet. I think there were sprinklers spraying us. And we took a sharp right-hand turn onto the next road. And I think the lead vehicles were a little surprised because at some points, I was actually almost catching the lead vehicles at some points in the race. But yeah, so I was just following the lead vehicle. There were 2 cop cars in the truck, so I was just following them. And this early, like, pacing thing, it wasn't that interesting, but I was up in the lead alone and couldn't really hear anyone behind me. And I just told myself, okay, you can't hear anyone behind you, but remember, like any race, even though this one is lower key, there is still really, really, really fast guys. And even someone who you think might not be fast is going to be pretty fast and could be pretty competitive. So you have to make sure you jump on this field early, get a lead, and see how long you can sustain it. And if you can sustain it long enough, you might only not get a good time. You might not only get a good time, but you might be able to get the win. So after running down that road, that we took that sharp right-hand turn, run down that road, and then we take the sharp left-hand turn, and down that road, now I can see the main road, and once I got onto the main road, I cut across the main road, took a left-hand turn, and see this giant hill. I had actually run this hill a few months back. I was actually doing a training run on the Boston Marathon course. It was like a long run, not too long, with the Greater Lowell Club, but we had run down this hill, and it wasn't that bad when you were running down the hill because first of all, you weren't racing. Second of all, it was a downhill, so it wasn't that hard. Now, it was so difficult. I'm telling you guys, like, this was the hill that people after the race said was a small incline. And I thought to myself, who in the world thinks this is a small incline? Like, how in the world do people consider this a small incline? So basically, I just tried to fight my way up that hill. I think I did slow on this hill, which was another thing I want to take away from this race that I didn't do quite well, because I think I slowed on that hill and some guys gained on me. I think I relaxed a little too much on the hill, and I think I dropped back a little bit. I don't think I should have done that. I think that's what also ended up costing me a race. I actually ended up coming in second in this race. I was trying to hide that from you guys, but now I really can't. So I think that's another thing that cost me the race, and I think it was just something I need to work on. I need to work on some more hills. But yeah, so back to the race. So I just kept cresting that hill, and it just felt like it was going on and on and on forever and ever and ever and ever. It just didn't feel like it was stopping. I just thought to myself, like, oh my God, when is this hill going to stop? Like, why won't it just stop now? Like, why can't this hill just stop? I don't understand. And, like, I didn't understand why the hill wouldn't just stop, because I'm like, oh my God, why? Why do you have to run up this hill? But eventually, I finally reached the top of the hill after cresting it, and I think I can't really remember this race quite clearly. There was a ton of turns on this race. I don't really know why there was a ton of turns on this race. It didn't really make much sense to me, but I think we went over that hill, and then we came down the hill, kept going straight. This was a long straightaway for a pretty decent amount of time, probably about half a mile. And then I was kind of about halfway down the downhill on the other side of that giant uphill that people called a small incline. I don't know who thought that was a small incline. Maybe people people who told me that just weren't racing or running as fast on that incline, but apparently, I guess, maybe I'm just more effective to hills. But halfway down that downhill, we hit the first mile, and I think to myself, okay, you hit this first mile pretty fast because you did go up that uphill, but as long as you just have to keep holding this pace. This pace is what's going to get you through this race. So just make sure you hold this pace, because remember, anyone behind you could be getting close to you, and you don't want them to come and catch you. So you have to make sure that you are aware of who is behind you, and that people can definitely catch you if you slow down, so don't slow down. So I tried my best there, past the mile marker, and we came to the bottom of that hill, and I once again had to take a sharp left-hand turn and crest once again another uphill. This one wasn't that huge. It was a decent size uphill, but it wasn't so big that it was like incredibly impossible to reach. It wasn't incredibly impossible, which I kind of liked, because it was the fact of the matter that, like, okay, it wasn't so hard that it was like impossible to reach, which I liked. So I crested that uphill, and then I finally came to a little bit of a flat surface, which I hadn't met in a long time since we actually came out of the BC campus, and I ran that flat surface, and I couldn't hear anyone behind me. I did hear some of the cheers behind me, and you guys know this, I do kind of feed off the cheering, because the cheering is how I hear people behind me, and I could hear the cheering getting closer and closer, and I thought to myself, okay, you have to try to speed up. Try to speed up here. Try to spend some of the energy that you have speeding up. Because my words are going to take up my voice. There might be guys behind you who are ready to pounce on you. And as I said to you guys, and as I say to you guys in all my race recaps, people are not afraid to pass you. You have to know that people are not going to be afraid to go and pass you. It is not something people are afraid of, especially adults who really do want to win the race. So I come past that flat part, and as we're taking the right-hand turn, I hear footsteps behind me, and I think to myself, okay, think positive. They could be your footsteps. You may not feel anyone else. And as I come, I can see a shadow coming, and just as a split second as that shadow came, some guy passed me and I'm in second place. And I think to myself, okay, it's fine. You just have to realize that, okay, you're try to keep him close. Try to just keep him close, and at the end, possibly try to outkick him. And which never did end up happening, but it was a nice thought. But at the time, I did think, okay, keep him close, and you might be able to try to get back in touch with him. Try to just keep gradually getting back in touch with him, and then you should be able to be good. So we took another sharp right-hand turn, and we went all the way, and we went like about probably a short distance down a hill, and then we took a right-hand turn, and sorry, I can't really remember this race too well. It wasn't since I'm filming this today out for you guys, and there was just so many turns on this race, I can't really remember it that well. But we took another right-hand turn, and we did a short loop through BC. I think it was the other side of the BC campus that we took a short loop through, but the police car, I wasn't leading at this point. I think I did that for you guys wrong. I think that turn actually, I don't think I went up that actually, yeah, I might have. I can't really remember this race that well. But I think we took a short loop through BC. So, I think that was where the first water stop actually was. But yeah, so we took a few more turns. I think it was just one big loop out of BC. I can't really remember this race that well. It wasn't the greatest thing for me. But yeah, so we took that loop, and then as we were taking that loop, I just kept telling myself, okay, keep him close. You still have time. You haven't even hit 2 miles yet. You just want to be able to keep him close. And if you can keep him close, you might be able to do something special at the end and possibly outkick him. And as we're coming past, I think, if I remember correctly, I think we came out of that loop, and then we took a right-hand turn, and then we went back down the hill, and about halfway down that hill, probably, we were running on that hill for a decent amount of time, but probably halfway down that hill, and as we took another sharp right-hand turn, again, these turns made it super, super hard to remember where this race went, and, I mean, the race, there was some mishaps at the end of it, so it was hard for me to remember a lot about the course, because I was just trying to catch the guy in front of most of the time. But yeah, so we took another sharp right-hand turn, and I think that was where we hit 2 miles. And I told myself, okay, you still have a mile to go. Remember, this is a 5K. People can seriously die out on this last mile. The last mile might be able to help you. Use this last mile wisely, use it to your advantage, and see how much ground you can make up in this last mile. As we took that sharp right-hand turn, we kept going all the way down a straightaway, and this race, and this part was probably the worst part of the course of all, because what it was is what you call a hairpin turn. And what a hairpin turn is you're basically going all the way down, you're taking the sharpest turn possible around a cone, and then you're going all the way back, which also equals you're slowing down all your momentum, you're slowing down all your speed, and you're slowing down everything, and then you have to try to regain it as you go past that cone. So basically, I went down, and that guy just turned the cone just before me, and I thought to myself, okay, try to make up some ground on this cone. This cone might be the make or break of the race. You might be able to catch him again. And as we took that turn, I wasn't very far off him as we took that turn, obviously. I mean, obviously, there were some great runners in this race. He was an amazing runner. But as I took the turn, I thought to myself, okay, try to gauge where you're at. Where are you at throughout this race? Is there someone right behind you? Is there someone not very far behind you? Is there no one in sight? That one was the whole one I was hoping for, and that one was the one I was got. Because there was, as I took that hairpin turn, as I was going down and nearing the end of that road, that was when the first person came in through. And I'm like, okay, you have basically surely secured second. Now it's a matter of, can you get first? And if you can't get first, just try to secure second and try to hold on to that second place. And as we came out of that hairpin turn, we took another right-hand turn to the same hill. This hill must have been so long, because I don't know, obviously, I might remember the course a little bit wrong and a little bit not how it was, but this hill was apparently super long and it was super steep. But as I told myself, and as the BC kid came, he couldn't keep up with the pace, obviously. I lost him pretty early on in the race. Amazing, amazing runner, though. And as he came, he basically told me, Michael, catch him on the downhill. And I thought to myself, listen to that advice. This downhill, you can use it to your advantages. You can use it to your advantages only because of the fact that if you can find some speed on this downhill, use the downhill to catch him. You don't want to leave this to a last minute sprint, because if you leave this to a last minute sprint, you know that you probably can't win a sprint, but you can probably win a solid race. So you just want to keep close, catch him before the end of the hill, and if you catch him before the end of the hill and build a little bit of a gap, you might be able to get him. So as we ran down that hill, I was just trying to pump my arms as hard as I possibly could. I was trying to move my legs as hard as I possibly could. After all that soreness of running up and down hills, running through the roads, this 5K course was super, super difficult. But as we neared the bottom of the hill, I hadn't caught him yet, and I keep thinking to myself, okay, just keep keeping him in contention. And as we took the right-hand turn off the hill, and we kept running down that road, and then we took another right-hand turn, I thought to myself, okay, you're not going to catch him. He is gone. He is going to win the race. Just try to hang on to second. And as I did that, we kept running down that road where we had to take the sharp right-hand turn, and I could see the cop car. I was running right next to a cop motorcycle, and we take a left-hand turn, and this was when I get sprayed again. I think I go under the sprinklers, actually. It was pretty cool. So we get sprayed with water again, and as I told myself that, I kept telling myself, okay, keep trying to keep yourself in second. Just keep pumping your arms as hard as you possibly can. I know you're tired. It's hard, but you just want to make sure you secure that second place spot, because that second place spot is going to get you a spot on the podium, and it could get you a pretty good award as well. So I kept trying to secure that second place spot. As I did that, I kept running down that road with the cop car, and eventually actually passed the cop car almost. I think the cop cars were basically off the course at that rate. But yeah, so I kept running down that road, took a wide left-hand turn, the same right-hand turn oppositely I had taken at the beginning of the race, went over that mini speed bump as I was taking that wide left-hand turn, and then after I took that wide left-hand turn, I kept running down that road, took a wide right-hand turn, and I could see my coach videotaping me and saying, "Go, Michael, go, you got this, there's no, just hang on, you got this, go. And kids were actually holding up their hands for a high five. I am sorry I could not give all of you a high five, whichever kids are watching this right now. I really wish I could have given you all a high five, but it was just hard at that moment because of the fact that it wasn't very easy, only because I was really tired and I was exhausted and everything else that happened in that race. But I did give one of the kids a high five, so I am proud of myself for that. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. But yeah, so as I took that, I took the same right sharp left-hand turn when we came out. I took that sharp left-hand turn, but it was a sharp right-hand turn this time into the stadium. And as I neared the stadium, I stepped onto the turf and thought to myself, okay, keep going. You just want to hang on to the second place spot. Do not lose this second place. You cannot lose the second place because it's going to be really devastating if you do lose the second place. And as I crossed the finish line, as I came through the stadium with that turf under me, I can see basically it was probably about 16:53, and I think to myself, okay, try to sprint as hard as you possibly can. If you're gonna get second, at least get under 17 minutes. And as I cross the line, I see the clock, and I think to myself, well, you didn't get 17 minutes, but you still got second, and that's a pretty dang good result. You still broke. That was still, I think, my second fastest time in history. Yeah, guys, so that's probably going to do it up for the second block of the video. And now we're into our third block of the video, the after the race. Alright, guys, in the third block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened after the race. So obviously, as I told you guys in the last block, I was really trying to hang on to that second place finish. As I came into the stadium and down the straight for the final time, as I was finishing, I was trying to break 17 minutes. I ended up, my official time, I think, was 17:04, I think. I think it was like 17:03, 70 or 80 or something. But we always round up when you talk about times, only because you can't really round down, only because of the fact that, like, you didn't run that time. So typically when I talk about times, if it's not on the time or below it, I always round it up to the next second or the next minute or something like that. But yeah, so I did try to make 17, but it didn't end up happening. And as I came through the finish chute, people were congratulating me on second place. They were giving me fist bumps, high fives, and I did give them high fives back. But upon finishing that race, I was not happy. I went over to my mom and I just went into her arms and I just cried my head off. Only because I was so sad. Like, I had led that race for half of the race. A mile and a half had gone by where I had led that race, and then someone came from behind, swept it off of me, used me basically as like a pacer almost, used me as like a rabbit and tried to chase me down. And then after that, just kind of blew right by me, and I was just left to hang on for second place. Obviously, you guys know, I got over it now. I realized that, the guy was much older than me, and I'm not at all making excuses for this. Like, no excuses being made here, but he was older than me. He was probably faster than me. He'd more experience than me. So it's just one of those things that, like, sometimes, and he just kind of flat out beat me. I had made some mistakes in that race. I had slowed down on the hills. I had not gotten, I had kind of relaxed a little bit, which I probably shouldn't have done. I probably shouldn't have done a lot of stuff I did in that race. I shouldn't have, like, I think I should have probably could have gone a little bit faster when it came to the hills and the kind of the straightaways. So I really do think I did a few things wrong in that race. I think I could have caught him at certain points, such as the hairpin turn and all that kind of stuff. But, I guess it's a learning experience, right? Every single race is going to be a learning experience, and I have to realize that I'm not going to win every single race. But as long as I can take those types of things away from me, and I can share those things with you guys that I want to take away, this way I can look back in years, and not only you guys can come back and watch this and think, oh, Michael had this kind of race, but I can come back and watch these videos and think to myself, oh yeah, these are the things I want to learn from, these are the things I have to work on, and these are the things I just want to get better at, so that next time when the race rolls around, I hopefully end up getting a different result, and maybe even after I learn from these mistakes, I can possibly get first next year in the 2023 edition. Again, I will link the info for this race down in the description below for 2023. But yeah, so after that, after I was good about that, I really wasn't good the whole day. I really kind of just thought about that the entire day. It was kind of a sad moment. It kind of had ruined my day, which it probably shouldn't have. But yeah, so I finished with that, and then when I actually got over it for the moment, we cheered on my teammates. My teammate Sam, I want to give a shout out to him because he has had to go through so much stuff in the past few years, such as injury was one of them. But I am so proud of Sam, only because of the fact that I didn't realize that he was as good a runner as he was. I didn't realize that Sam he ran 20, I think he ran like 20:30 yesterday. That's off an injury, guys. Come on, what more can you ask for? Like, Sam, I want to give a shout out to him only because he might have been the most impressive one there yesterday, because of the fact that he came off what he had come off and still ran 20:30. That is amazing. Congratulations to Sam. Once again, I would like to give a congratulations to my teammates Jonas, who ran incredible. I think he ran like 23 something. Cooper, the new Cooper. I know we call them new and original Cooper, but new Cooper, who joined us in the winter. He actually had finished. I think he finished like 12th 12th or something, and he ran like 21 something. So you can just see that like this field, even though it was small, it was pretty packed with people. So there was a pretty decent amount of talent in this field. It was pretty crazy. Abigail, our teammate who had joined us this spring, she ran 23, like 20 or something. So there was so many great performances. And once again, rounding out the team field, I think the prize for most determined athlete, I think, would have to go to my teammate Ethan. Ethan has run with our team for now probably 2 seasons. I would say he ran for indoor and he ran now for outdoor. Ethan gets the most determined award because he rounded out our team in the finishing stands, and he had the determination to go and finish, even though he wasn't running with anyone. He had no one to pace off of. Ethan, I really do think, gets the most improved runner award. And not only the most improved, I think he gets the most determined. Because Ethan was the kid who not only had no one to pace off of, but he rounded out our field. And he could have easily said, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be able to finish this, I'm not going to be able to do this. And he didn't. He kept going. And that's what I love about Ethan, because he is such a great and determined runner that I think he gets the most determined award. But we watched Haley and Brooklyn come through, which my sister and Brooklyn had actually run together, Catherine and Brooklyn. I will link everyone's results down in the description below. So if you guys would like to go check out the results, you can go check those out. We watched Jacob obviously come through, and then we watched Sam's sister Lucy come through, is also on our team. She is co-captain. But yeah, so that was our team for today, and I really do think, even though this field was tiny, as I have told you guys, it had some awesome talent, and some of our teammates today did an incredible job. I mean, I give 2 shout-outs specifically to Ethan, Jacob's brother, and Sam, Lucy's older brother, who also runs for our team, Lucy. She's co-captain, as I just said to you guys. But yeah, so I mean, those 2 probably get the biggest shout-outs from me, but our entire team did amazing today, and I am so proud of everyone. But after that, we basically took a few more pictures. We got our awards. We didn't know where to get the medals at first, because they had told us they were going to give them up at the finish line, but they ended up being at the water stations after the race, which I didn't really understand that much. But after we finished the race, after we watched everyone come through, we did do kind of a mini cool down with that BC kid who paced me. We did pick his brain a little bit on some stuff that we had. He did congratulate me and said, just don't sweat it, shake it off. It's not that big of a deal. You always have other races to come. And I thought to myself in that moment, yeah, you do have other races to come. You have more races to come, and you'll do great in most of them. Some of them you'll have your troubles in. I mean, obviously this one was one of them. But you still finished second in this race, and you still have so many more races to come this season. So, I mean, just think about that. We picked his brain on workouts. He told us about his team who was down at the Penn Relays this weekend. If you guys didn't see the Penn Relays, I will link the live stream or some videos of my favorite events down in the description below. But yeah, so it was so much fun to watch everyone run. It was fun to cool down with my BC pacer or BC. I can't remember what his name is right now. I think I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, so I just been calling him Kid. But if I've just been calling him Kid, but if you're from BC and you know that this is you, please do comment down your name in the live chat. I would love to hear what your name is. I really don't want to just keep calling you by Kid. So if you can say what your name is down in the live chat, I would love to hear about that. But yeah, so we finished our cool down with him, and then we went to pick up our awards. Obviously, 1 second, let me grab my hat. So obviously, this hat was actually only for the top 3 finishers in this race. So I did get a hat. I almost got my age group award, but then they said, oh, Mike, I even said to them, like, oh, you get an award for top 3? And they said, yes. And I'm like, oh, I was Michael Stewart. I was second. And they said, oh, yeah. So they handed me the hat and a mug. If I had gotten my age group award, I would have gotten a gift card to the BC bookstore for probably like $20-25. I don't even know, but I thought the hat was pretty cool because only the top 3 in each race in the men's and women's category get the hat. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I decided to take the hat instead of the mug with the gift card in it that I probably would have ended up not spending or spending more of anyway. So it was probably better that I got the hat instead of the gift card, because otherwise I would have ended up spending like $300 there at the store. But yeah, so we did that, and then we went to go look for the medals, and of course when I got there, every single medal was gone. And I'm like, how is I thought to myself, how does a race run out of medals? And I thought maybe they have some more, and of course they had no more. And I thought to myself, like, how does a race run out of medals? Like, you're a race and you ran out of medals to give to people. I don't really understand how that's even possible, only because of the fact that, like, when you're a race, you normally pay for the amount of medals that you have, and normally if I was a race, I'd buy about 25 more. I mean, like, how do you miscount the medals? I'm so confused. I mean, unless they cost like $20 each, but the medals probably don't cost that much, especially when you're buying them in that much bulk. So I thought to myself, how does a race not have medals for everyone to get one? But I mean, a lot of our teammates didn't get one, but luckily I did get a hat, and luckily most of our teammates got age group awards and everything else, so we all got cool mugs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a super, super, super fun race. But yeah, so congratulations to all my teammates. They all did an amazing job. And after that, we basically took a few more pictures, talked to our teammates a little bit more. We took our racing shoes, did the cool down, all that kind of stuff, got our awards, and then we left to go look for the bookstore. So for a long time, we were just kind of searching around campus for a while. After those pictures, we were playing with each other. Me and my teammates were playing tag, actually. I was pretty sore, so I wasn't able to run that fast, but I was still able to play tag, which thank God I was, because I thought it was going to be just like half running, half walking at that point. But yeah, so we played tag, and then when we couldn't find the bookstore, it was too late to find it because we had to go out to lunch with some of our friends. But yeah, so we basically said, okay, so we were walking with the LeMay family, who was Haley and Brooklyn's family. Sorry, I almost fell off my chair there. But yeah, so we came with them, and then, but the problem was we had to go to lunch with some friends, sorry. But yeah, so we basically told the LeMays, we're going to have to leave now, and they even said, like, yeah, we should probably leave too, because we would have ended up spending like $200 at that store, so it probably wasn't even worth it anyway. But yeah, so we said bye to everyone. We got in the car, we drove Jack home, and after that, we went out to lunch with some friends and enjoyed the rest of our day. You guys, that's probably going to do it up for this third block of the video, and now it's into our fourth block of the video, our special guest speakers from today's race. Alright guys, and I really do hope you enjoyed this video. I really do hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about what happened before, during, and after the race, and all our special guest speakers for today. Obviously, my dad ran an incredible race. As with my sister today, they both ran an incredible race. My dad, I think he finished top I think it was either top 5 or top 10. I think it was top 10. But he ran a time of 19:30. And for that course, as I told you guys, that course was super, super difficult. So, I mean, I was super proud of him. He actually ran in, I didn't get to tell you guys this. I really didn't talk about the people who came in. Chris and Addison, Haley and Brooklyn's parents, did an awesome job as well. Haley and Brooklyn's dad and sister. I didn't really get to talk about them that much. My dad actually came in running and holding hands with this guy. He even said, I couldn't really understand them, but I was holding hands with them as we came in, and they crossed the line together, and I think they both got the exact same time of 19:30, and both finished 6th and 7th, I think. And then after that, Haley and Brooklyn's sister and dad came through, and yeah, so this was an awesome race today. All my teammates and everyone on my team associated with my team did an awesome job, and everyone who wasn't. Everyone who ran this race did an awesome job. I mean, it was just so fun to watch everyone run awesome races, awesome times, and get some super flashy and cool awards along with it. But yeah, so it was so much fun to watch people run and compete in this race. This race was an awesome one. We'll definitely be doing it again next year, and I will link all the info for it down in the description below. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed that. Once again, I hope you enjoyed our guest speakers for today. My dad had an awesome race. My sister also had an awesome race. Her and Brooklyn, Haley's sister, and Haley's sister came in with my sister Catherine, and then and then my mom obviously was our prime photographer. She was awesome with the photography. When I link the photos at the end of this video, those photos are going to be all from her. So I really do appreciate that my mom. I know it's sometimes boring. I understand that sometimes it's not that fun to be the photographer, but I mean the photos that you guys see at the end of this video, they're all from her. So I mean sometimes they're from other people, but most of the photos that I put at the end of my video videos, they're all from her. So I really, 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 really do thank her for being the photographer, taking some incredible photos. And even though I don't like taking them, I always know I'm going to share them with you guys. So that's what makes me okay with taking them. What makes me okay with taking the time to take them, and everything else about taking them. It's not that fun at the time, but it is fun when I get to share them with you guys. But yeah, so thank you to our guest speakers again. But once again, thank you to my coach Joe, who came and cheered us all on. Joe is once again one of the most amazing coaches I could ever ask for. I'll never get a better coach but Joe. I almost guarantee that in lifetimes I'll never get a better coach than Joe. I never want Joe to not be my coach. I know I'll have to settle for coaches when I get into high school and college, and if I do run in high school and college. But as of right now, I really do love Joe for everything he does for me. I love him so much as a coach, and it's just so much fun to be someone who runs under his guidance and have him as a coach. But yeah, so congratulations to all my teammates. Congratulations to everyone who ran this race. Thank you to all the supporters and Coach Joe, obviously, my mom for taking all the photos, and everyone else who took the photos. And thank you for just giving us a great time to the race director, all the volunteers, and everyone else who put on this race for giving us a great race, a great time, some awesome results, and some awesome awards to come along with it. Once again, I will link all the info for the 2023 race down in the description below, and I will be linking at the end of the video probably some photos, some videos, the awards from today's race, and anything else that you have to know about today's race. And obviously we'll be having our running videos gone wrong, and to wrap it all up, we'll have our quote. But yes, that's probably gonna do it up for that. Yeah, guys, that's probably gonna do it up for that. Stick around with this quote, and you guys are going to love it, like I just said, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have fun. Keep running, enjoy life, maybe come run this race with us in 2023. It's going to be an awesome one, and peace out, guys.
Oh my God!
How about Michael Studer from Westford?
Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to a video. I was watching today's video, I did say, hope you enjoyed the last few episodes of you guys about the Boston Marathon Expo recap. I really do hope you guys... Alright guys, in this first block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened before the race. So once again, as I need to warm up. Alright guys, in this first block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened before the race. So once again, as I need to warm up. Before we got to the first bump, I mean, obviously, everyone in this race was a great runner. I mean, that was clear from the start, but... Alright guys, in the third block of the video, we're going to be talking about what happened after the race. So obviously, as I told you guys in the last block of the video, I really did... Let's see if we can pause the video. This is crazy. I didn't actually know I could pause the video. Now, oh my god, such great technique. Oh my god, I'm so happy I know this now. You learn something new every day, right? This is the best feature I have. Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to a video. As for today's video, I just say, hope you enjoyed the last episode of you guys about the Boston Marathon Expo recap. Let's check how the volume is on this.